Why is pricing yourself so fucking hard? I'm trying a slightly different approach today to content. It's unscripted. I've got a few talking points on my laptop, but generally it's just me, you, the ducky mug, and a topic that's pretty close to my heart, which is pricing. No one prepares you for the discomfort of pricing yourself after a lifetime of having that monetary value assigned to you by somebody else, right? Like, I come from hospitality, and like typically you're on the £12 an hour. If you want to make any meaningful money, you need to fucking live in the restaurant doing the 12-hour back-to-back shifts, or you need to climb the ladder to become a supervisor, a restaurant manager, a GM. And that's when you actually start seeing the real money coming in that isn't just dependent on you camping out in a restaurant day in, day out, and sacrificing. You kind of have to decide how much of your life do you want to sacrifice in order to make meaningful money that goes beyond just survival. And that's the first point I want to make in this video, is that it's this hours over outcome argument, right? I think charging by hour is honestly a habit left over from full-time employment, or a habit that's put on us by society or others, right? I don't actually think, for the most part, I don't see any sense in hourly at all if you're running a business. It doesn't really make any sense to me. I mean, if you can think of an exception, please feel free to drop it in the comments. Like, I'm up for discussion and up to be challenged and have a debate on it, but as far as I can see, it doesn't make any sense. My friend Devon Page, he's the founder of a cool new app called Workflow Maps. You should check him out. He talks about something called the efficiency tax. So he helps a lot of VAs. And essentially what he's saying is, the better VAs get and the quicker amount of time it takes for them to do a task, the less money they get paid if they charge hourly. And like, how is that fair, right? And it's such a good point. Like, you're not selling your time, you're selling an outcome. Your time, the time it takes for you to do something is largely irrelevant, right? If the outcome is still the same. Like, full-time employment rewards, your availability and your obedience to come and, do the rota, do the shift or whatever. But freelancing and running your own business is about impact, speed, and creating that result for your client. And the time it takes for you to do that shouldn't really impact what you quote. I mean, so you should definitely still have your own internal hourly rate that you figure out, okay, how long is it going to take me to do X, Y, and Z? And that should play a part. But like, the external rates that you give clients, like, shouldn't really be about how long it takes for you to do the thing. It should just be, how much does this thing mean to them, right? And then price according to that. I see this example a lot, and it's like the Nike slogan, right? Just do it. And I see people saying things like, if the copywriter charged by the hour or charged by the word, right, it wouldn't be a very lucrative payday for them. But look how much that slogan has done for Nike. Billions, right? Is it billions, millions? I don't actually know how much Nike's worth, but a fucking lot, that's for sure. Or another example, how much is LinkedIn content worth to a CEO who has no fucking time to do it? They know that they can monetize LinkedIn as a channel, but they have not got time to write any posts. And then a ghostwriter comes along and says, hey, I can do your post completely done for you. I can prove to you it will generate leads. I can prove to you it will boost your authority in the industry. I can prove you'll become the go-to, right? How long it takes the ghostwriter to put pen to paper and actually produce those posts is fucking irrelevant, because the value that the CEO sees in that service is exponential, right? I mean, it could go on. And so the pricing should reflect the value of the work, not how long it takes for you to do something, right? And interestingly, there's a paradox with pricing as well. Like, when you undercharge, you typically position yourself as less premium by design, right? Like, there's this weird kind of thing where, like, if someone positions a service to you and it's like pretty cheap, like say for example, let's take supermarkets as an example. You've got the own brand products, and then you've got the extra special product, right? Which is typically more expensive, but most probably the same goddamn thing, right? And people will be like, the cheap stuff, it's, I'd rather get like the extra. Like, it's because it's more expensive, right? It's the premium option, and so you feel premium by choosing it. And so by having rates that are cheap might position you as someone who might not be that good, right? And like, as a result, you might attract lower quality clients, people who might nickel and dime you, as they say, or people who are quite difficult to work with because they are shopping based on price, which aren't really the kind of clients you want to be attracting, right? You want to be attracting people who have the money to pay, they understand the value in what they're buying, and they're looking for quality, right? They're not looking for the cheapest option. You know what they say, if you pay cheap, you pay twice, right? That's what they say. And so we get into this kind of weird cycle where we feel like, you know, if we charge less, then we might attract more clients, but then the clients you're attracting are the kind of people that they drive you crazy. And I fell into this trap at the start of my freelancing journey. I remember I had a call with a potential client. I was going to white label some content for them, and I was on the phone to her, and she was like, so what are you charging? And obviously this is my second client from coming out of hospitality and managing this event venue. And I said, fuck, what do I charge? And then I was like, and this was when I was a copywriter, right? And I was like, £15 an hour. She literally said to me on the phone, she was like, Amber, I'm not paying you. She was like, you can't do that to yourself. Like, bless her. She was so sweet, and she saw herself in me when she was starting out, and she said, look, I'm not paying you £15 an hour. That is like, I'm not paying you that little amount, right? Like, you, and you know, luckily she was a good person and was honest with me and actually said, look, you're lowballing yourself. And she told me to go up, but like, there are plenty of people that would have taken that and been like, yep, cool, no stress, £15 an hour, let's do it, right? And so I learned very quickly that a low rate is obviously a lowballing myself, but also like I would attract people who would take advantage of that, right? And again, it's the hangover from full-time employment. I would lowball myself because I would think, well, what's palatable to somebody else? What's reasonable to somebody else, right? All I'd ever known was £12 an hour waiting tables and getting service charge, like if I was having a good day, right? And so I didn't really know what I was doing. I was just using that as my yardstick on how to price myself. And little did I know how fucking wrong it was. So that brings me to the next point I want to talk about, which is kind of another hangover from full-time employment, which is this idea of going from gratitude to going to control, right? And so what I mean by that is we're kind of taught to be like grateful for like our salary, grateful, and like, don't get it twisted. Obviously I definitely practice gratitude. I recommend everyone practices gratitude. But what I mean is that like, we're kind of taught to like accept and be grateful for what we're given and not rock the boat, right? I've had many times in the past where like I've been given my salary, I'm thinking, right, okay, yeah, I'll take that. I don't want to rock the boat. And this is an important thing. I don't want to rock the boat. I'll just take what I've been told, take what I've been given, and just go with that, right? And what I'm realizing now, a year into running my own business, is how important this mindset shift is from being this grateful employee to an operator who sets the terms, who determines their value. And fuck, is it hard. But that is the shift that has unlocked everything for me, right? Like, I'm not a grateful employee. I'm a service provider solving a problem for you. This is how much the problem costs to solve. And that's it. Like, if someone can't afford you and you really want to work with them, that's fine. Adjust the price, but adjust the deliverables too, right? Don't just slash your prices to fit other people in. Like, make it work, make it mutually beneficial, right? You're not a grateful employee anymore. You're an operator who sets the terms, right? And this is crucial. And in the job market, something that I kind of see happening that I think will continue to happen over the next few years. So with the exception of industries, medicine, law, engineering, the kind of industries that genuinely require formal training and experience, etc. I do think that in the wake of AI and with all sorts of changes happening at the moment, that we are going to be transitioning into more of the creator economy, where personal brands and an individual's ability to problem solve and provide a service will become more attractive than kind of like the CV, right? And I'm not suggesting that everybody has to become a freelancer or everyone has to become a founder, but I just think that this idea of like creation and having a presence is going to be far more important than having a document your CV or your experience, your qualifications, and that kind of determines whether or not you get jobs, right? Like, I was speaking to one of my clients the other day and he was telling me that even before he decided to start his own business, most of the jobs that he has ever had has been through his network or through his personal brand or through his reputation to solve problems, right? And that has enabled him to kind of have more of a weigh in on how he prices himself or what kind of salaries he asks for, because people are seeing you as a problem solver and seeing the way you think and the way you work, rather than this kind of document of accolades and achievements that make you kind of susceptible more to being put into a box, right? So I think one of the biggest takeaways I can give to you about pricing yourself, if this is something you're struggling with at the moment, is to really zoom out and think about, for my ideal client, what is this service, this product or service truly worth to them in terms of impact, in terms of value, not in terms of how many hours of my life am I going to sell to them. It's not about that anymore, right? Like, good sales is life-changing. Good problem solving is life-changing. It can unlock revenue, time, health, wealth, relationships. Like, it can unlock so much. And so when you start positioning it with that lens in mind, you can start unlocking more with your pricing structure. And like, I'm not going to sit here and tell you that mindset shift is easy, because it's not. I'm still personally going through it as well. But it is so important when you're transitioning to being self-employed, freelancer, founder, that you really seriously consider how you're pricing yourself and whether or not you're holding yourself back from more revenue. Like, higher fees paradoxically attract better clients. Like, the clients who pay more are typically the easiest to work with, right? Because they understand that they're paying for quality, they're paying for a service. They're not going to be like another client of mine recently told me that they have a low paying client who literally treats her like an employee, an extended member of the team. And like, whilst that can be a good thing in some sense, it isn't in other senses, because you attract low quality clients who kind of like micromanage and breathe down your neck all the time and don't let you exercise your zone of genius. And that's not why you signed up to run your own business, right? Like, you signed up to do this because you know you can solve a problem, you know you can do it well, you know you can help people. The kind of people that recognize that good quality services, there's a price for them, but there's also a return on that investment as well, right? Another thing to consider as well as a freelancer, as a self-employed person, is that like, you're paying your own sick pay, you're paying your own holiday pay. You know, there's a ton of benefits that people with jobs get that you aren't getting, that needs to be folded into that pricing structure. It needs to be considered when you are pitching or quoting, right? One of the biggest missions I have with this business, you know, is to help self-employed people realize what they can charge, right? And price themselves confidently. Like, I've got clients who have been doing what they've been doing for like 10 years and they're still lowballing themselves because of a lot of reasons, right? Like I said, it's a hangover from employment. It's a hangover from societal expectations as well. It's a mindset thing. It's an imposter syndrome thing. And ultimately, it holds you back, right? It holds you back from attracting those super aligned, high quality clients and filling up your calendar, but also having your bank balance fill up as well, right? Like, there's no point being super busy if you can't enjoy the fruits of your labor. I think because there's such a strong tie to identity, to self-worth, to deserving, and there's all sorts of deeper rooted things that go into that, stuff that's not even related to business at all, stuff that's quite personal that can affect those things. So if you find yourself stuck in this charging by hours, not by outcome, and, you know, feeling like a grateful employee rather than operator who calls the shots, it's okay to think like that, but I would also advise for you to unlearn those limiting beliefs and step into a world where you can charge based on your worth, you can charge based on your speed, your impact, your experience. And once you make that unlock, the sky's the limit, really. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you enjoyed making it. No, you didn't make it, I made it. I hope you enjoyed watching it as much as I enjoyed making it. And I really enjoyed making this one, actually, because, again, like I said, this is a problem super close to my heart, man. Like, no one prepares you for the fuckery of pricing yourself. Like, holy shit. If you have any questions, or if you'd like any support on this, or you just would fancy a chat, connect with me on LinkedIn. I'd be happy to speak with you. And if you've got any thoughts about this subject, pop them in the comments. I'm super interested by how other people see this situation. Sweet. Anyway, I'll see you in the next one. Bye!